All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to be talking about baseball. Let's go. Oh no, it sure didn't work. All right, we're going to talk about baseball. Let's get some baseball up in here. We're going to talk about baseball stories. I've been an umpire for, let's get a baseball background. Baseball! I've been an umpire for 15 years, if you guys don't know that about me. But yeah, I've been a baseball umpire for 15 years, and I have some crazy stories on how, like, I've been attacked on the baseball field before. Let's get an image in here. What is that? Like, and there we go. Let's put this behind me. There we go. Let's make it big there. And fit to screen. We're going to talk about baseball! Baseball! All right. How's the cat doing tonight? He's doing great. He's super adorable. But we need to talk about baseball for an hour. All right. So this one time, all right. So I was in Lehigh, Utah. All right. This one time I was on the field. I was the field umpire. And while I was the field umpire, I had this moment where I made some mistakes. Like I'm human, you know. When I umpire, I'm human, of course. And while I was umpiring on the field, so there's two different umpires or three, depending on how you like how many umpires you have. There's like you can have a 5-man squad, 6-man squad, a 3-man squad, 2-man squad, or you could be by yourself. So this tonight I was a 2-man squad, and I was the field umpire. That means I'm on the field right near the pitcher. The pitcher's the person in the middle of the field. And I dipped my head for a second, and the guy picked off, which means he threw over to third base or to one of the bases while he was on the mound. He threw over. They tagged him. I missed the call. Nice. Looking forward to seeing you play baseball. Baseball, right? So so I missed the call. I didn't see it. I didn't anything. I dipped my head for a second because I was tired that night. It was my third game of the night or something like that. And it was getting late. Each game's like 2 hours. I was getting tired on my feet. My feet were hurting, and I just dipped my head for a second. It happened so fast. Well, the third base coach, there's usually a first base coach and a first base coach. So the third base coach, he was an honest guy, good, nice Mormon man. And I'm like, bro, I missed that call. I didn't see it. Is your player out? This was going to count against him. He's like, yeah, he's out. And he pushed him to the dugout, and that player was out on third base. So that was one thing that I didn't do right that night. You don't make the coach in Little League make the call. But he was honest. He was honest, which is very rare to see. And so after that, game went on. I was the closest to everything. I didn't miss anything else. I was like high adrenaline. I usually like to dress really nice when I'm on the ball field. And while I was on the ball field, you know, I get up to second. I call out against the losing team. Boy, they lost it. They lost it over every little thing after that. And just started screaming at me. And when you're on the field, and these are like 12-year-old to 15-year-old kids, when he's screaming on me, looking like an idiot, I don't say anything or respond or anything like that. So the game is going on. They're chirping. It's called chirping. So they're chirping at me, and I still don't say anything. And the home plate umpire was doing a piss poor job. He was calling balls and strikes and not in the strike zone, not staying consistent until that added to the fire. And so since that added to the fire, they were like especially mad at me. Which is fine, you know, you don't really think about it. Anyways, it came to the end of the game. I think I made the last call or something. Their players were just being stupid. And so I make the final call. I'm walking out of the dugout. Then the wild Karen appears. No, it was like the wild Joe. Let's just say wild psycho Joe. I'm walking out, and this kid that does respect me, he was just in the heat of the moment, being on a stupid team. He made a comment saying the exact words that the coach was saying. Well, don't be a piss poor coach and let your kids talk like that to Mr. Umpire. So I'm like, hey, you're a piss poor example to these kids yelling at me and stuff like that. I don't know what your problem is. And I'm walking off, and then all of a sudden, this random dad comes out of nowhere and he starts laying his hands on me. He starts pushing me. And that's assault or battery or whatever you want to call it. And so I don't do anything. I call it my supervisor, and the supervisor apparently was, I guess, friends with him or something like that. So he sided with, he's a man of authority and all that stuff. So he shoved me, which you're not supposed to. And it's very dangerous in baseball. Like there's weapons around. There's a ball. There's bats, and people have died. And umpires can definitely die in this situation. So I don't think anything of it. And my guy, his name's Mark. He didn't do crap. He didn't get back me up. He didn't help me. He didn't do anything. And it was very frustrating to me. So, the authorities were called, and the police were called, and that was the end of that. But later on that year, he didn't back me up. He didn't protect me. He always says I got your back when you're in trouble, No, he doesn't have my back. Such bull crap. And a lot of times he would throw me under the bus as an umpire. And there's this rule in Lehigh, Utah, where the umpires are completely weak and powerless. You can't throw anybody out. You're not allowed to. They'll go to the city. They'll freak out. They'll be all stupid. But of course I did toss out some people that were dropping F-bombs around little 8-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids. I had tossed their aces out. They wouldn't leave and nothing would happen, because they didn't have any respect for the umpire. So, there's this thing with baseball umpiring, when you put on that mask, what a lot of people do is they don't see you as human anymore. They don't see you as, real. They see that mask dehumanizes, and for whatever reason, people start yelling at the umpire. You know what I mean? So they start yelling and saying some of the worst things, and as an umpire, you're not supposed to react to it because it will manipulate the game and all that stuff. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to be everything, and you got to make split-second decisions a couple of 100 times. What gets me is these people are acting totally, and this children is playing a game. Exactly. And a lot of times they say Billy, oh, he's so good. No strikes ever go against him. And you're WTFF, what are you talking about? Of course, Billy doesn't, know everything and all the strikes and all that, So, super stupid. Parents get super stupid because they think their kid never does wrong, and then the umpire always does wrong. I've had so many things. I've had coaches get in my face and I've tossed them out of games. There's this thing in baseball, say for example, I toss somebody from a game and they don't leave. Tossing them from the game preemptive means they have to leave the ballpark. They have to leave and go to their car, and you're not in my sight anymore. Get out of my face. And I've had coaches not respect that. In tournament games, I tossed the coach out because his team was doing crappy, just doing a horrible job. And so he was chirping and just saying the dumbest thing. So I go up to, I had enough. I'm like, hey, that's enough, coach. And he keeps on going. So that was like a nice warning in the beginning. And after that, he didn't shut up. So I went up to him and he was on first base. And I'm twice his size. I'm 6'5". This guy was 5 foot nothing. And I'm like, all right, well, you got two options. This is why I did karate, right? I'm like, all right, bro, you got two options. And I said this really quiet. I'm like, shut your mouth or you can get out of here. So what do you want? What do you want to do? And he's like, F you. And I'm like, done! You're out of here! Done! Get on out of here! But I did it, in a professional manner, toss his ace out. And he's like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm like, all right, well, you got 2 minutes. If you don't, your team forfeits the game. As the umpire, you have that power. If you toss someone on that team and they don't leave, you can forfeit the game into the favor of the opposing team. Well, his team wasn't doing good anyways, and he looked like an idiot anyways, defiling me and everything like that. So he didn't leave for a sec, and sometimes you need to get the law involved because they just get ridiculous, So I had a big buff dude come on the field, and it was hot as hell that day. He takes him off. All right, you got to leave. The Sam asked you to leave. Here we go. You can leave here. Well, he's supposed to leave the game entirely. You're not allowed to see the game anymore. You can see it from your car. Not close to me. So he goes behind the backstop. If you guys don't know what any of the terms I'm saying, please, for the love of Jeebus, ask me in chat. And he's going behind the backstop. And I'm calling my game. He's still saying stuff. I'm like, I told you to get out of here. Get on out of here. And then this little Karen in front of her is like, oh, you're so mean. Well, you can shut up too. Oh, interrupted. Oh, boy, I might as well took a crap on their child. Dear Jesus. And he's all freaking out. Why? He's on the other side. He's freaking out. He wants to come get violent with me. And of course, everybody else is like, you sit down, get out of here, and all that stuff. He's being an idiot. You told Karen to shut up? Hell yeah, I did. I told Karen to shut her pie hole. You shut up too. I pointed to her. You shut up too. Yeah, when I'm in umpire mode and like commander mode, you're not going to get away with bull crap like that. So I told Karen to shut up, and he lost it, started getting violent, started F this, F that, in front of Mormon kids. I mean, these gosh dang Mormon kids have never heard a swear word in their life. That's one of the biggest sins you could do at an 8-year-old. Anyways, he's freaking out, and I'm just laughing, telling guys to get him out of here, and he finally leaves. Oh, that was fun. I threw out a fan once. What was he saying? He was being an idiot. He was just yelling at me, telling me how to do my job. You want to piss off an umpire, you complain about balls and strikes. That's nitpicking. It's not really going to really change the game and at any level. I mean, there's a lot that happens in the game. Complaining about balls and strikes is not going to get you anywhere. You just sound like an idiot to the umpire. And, what else happened? I tossed him out. It was an old man on one crutch. He was like, oh, you suck, Blue! You suck. He was right here. Right? There's the fence, and he's like right here. Of course, it's like 20 feet away, or it's 10, 20 feet away. Oh, you suck, Blue! That wasn't a ball! That was a strike! Doesn't say anything when his teams are up, or anything. Anything that goes against that team, he freaks out. So I'm like, hey, you can shut up. Thanks. And that's a friendly warning. That's a friendly warning right there. And he doesn't shut up. I'm like, all right, get on out of here. You're no longer welcomed here, my old man. I didn't call him that, but I'm exaggerating a little. I tossed his ace out. He left on his one leg. Actually, he had like a crutch, like one of those like supportive crutches that you go on each arm. Like, doesn't mean that you could be an a-hole, Jerry. So he was an a-hole. And what else? What else can I tell you? This one time I was doing Super League, which means like the advanced kids. Actually, their parents paid like a couple grand to have their freaking kids play more games on a more practice and everything like that. So they call it Super League out here. Well, Super League is where the biggest a-holes in the world live. You want to hurt someone, you do it in Super League. I mean, that place is just a cluster F and a half. Anyways, I'm in Super League, umpiring, doing just a fine hell of a job. This kid's throwing pretty good. He's like 8 years old. I issue not 8-year-old, pitching wonderful. Obviously, he's been trained. Obviously, his parents invested thousands of dollars to get him to throw like that as a pitcher. And, I tell one fan to shut up. Like, yeah, don't do that during this game, And I get in my little umpire voice, and he shut up the rest of the game. Like, if you want to do my job, you go right ahead, but could you please be quiet? So he shuts up, and I don't know if their team lost or won. Usually it's the losing team that will freak out over dumb stuff. Anyways, I get undressed up at the tower, which is like the main building on the ball field. It's surrounded by all the other ball fields where the scorekeepers are. Well, there was no scorekeeper up there because it was Super League, and they do little things different then. So I go up there, get undressed. I'm feeling good about the day. And, I got paid, I think, or whatever. And I'm walking past that dugout where the losing team was. And didn't think anything of it. Hey, Blue! This is what the coach said of that team. Hey, Blue, you did a crappy job. You're a horrible umpire. Boy, oh boy, I dropped the F-bomb at him. I'm like, well, you. Well, boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, you say that to Mormon parents? Oh, hell's gonna break loose. Dear Jesus. And all of a sudden, people start telling me out in the parking lot. And I'm like, great. Do I have my pepper spray with me? Do I have my taser on me? No, I did not have any of that. And I'm walking to my car, and they're all of a sudden the parents start chirping. How dare you? How dare you? Right? They're coming up, knocking on my mother effing window. I'm like, B, no, you aren't. No, you aren't. I lay on my horn. Go away from my car. Don't you touch my car. Hi, oh boy. So I drive out of there, report them, and guess what happens? Absolutely nothing. Dear God. So, next story I got for you, baseball umpiring. This one time I was on field 5 out in Lehigh. And it was like championship time. And I was the home plate umpire. And I was doing a fine job. I'm a hell of an umpire. Let's just say that I'm super popular. Everyone loves me. They know I'm loud. They know I'm pumped. Pumped! And I dress like a freaking MLB, Major League Ball Player Umpire. Amazing. So, in the City League, oh, I looked good. I had my shoes shined. Anyways, we were doing state. And this out of town coach comes comes in. Their team is doing fine. He had no reason to complain. Anyways, a play happened at home, and I call him out. He got tagged this far away from home plate. Hell yeah, I'm going to call his ace out. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, let me think about that in 1 second and get everyone pissed off. No. I called his ace out. And that old man, he came trotting up to me. You know what a trotting looks like? Think of a horse with diabetes. He comes trotting up to me, and he's all like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And I'm all like, what are you doing? And he comes straight nose to nose with me. Gets my shoes all dirty. I'm all like, you get back to your dugout. Boy, oh boy, he was mad at that. Must have been bad, right? Oh, from his angle, it looked like it's safe because, like, the umpire who's 1 foot away, and to compare it to somebody who's 50 feet away, Kendall, stop saying yo and bye. Stop doing that. And, so he comes up, and then after the whole tournament, or the next day, he apologized. I think I said him to shut his pie hole or something like that. I was pissed. I didn't say bye. Well, good, Kendall. I'm glad you did. We're talking baseball right now. So he apologized the next day. I didn't apologize. I probably did because I'm a nice guy like that. So, that contradicted myself. Anyways, so there's that story. What idiot. Football better. No, we're talking baseball. This is a baseball umpiring show. No, we're not talking about soccer. Oh, wait, you probably meant bumping your heads football, where you get concussions and people don't know how to manage their money. That's probably what you were talking about. I get it. So, all right, other umpire story. No, American football. No, we're not talking football. I'm sorry, we're talking baseball. So, some other umpire stories. My soccer. I know, Kendall. Did I stutter? They're both good. Did I stutter? We're talking about baseball. Okay, well, you know what? You have your opinion. Even though it's wrong. So, what's up, lady guy? How you doing? Anyways, baseball umpiring. I go out to Cooperstown, New York almost every year. I've been going a couple times now. And, I've asked people, there's this rule out there. If you get tossed from a game, you're not only tossed from the game, you're tossed from the entire ballpark. And the ballpark's huge. Security will come, escort that coach off, and you're on the permanent. Get the F out of here. I'm doing good. Thanks. Good. So you're on the permanent, ban from the ballpark forever. And it's super dark. So what's the game you're playing? Kendall, are you not do you speak English? Do you speak English? We're going to talk baseball for 37 more minutes. All right. So you just sit back and shut up. So, I'm not speaking Spanish. Don't ruin this, Kendall. So anyways, Cooperstown, New York, I've had coaches be like the dumbest out there. And they pay a couple grand, like 5 to 10 grand to take their kids out to Cooperstown, New York and pay for the umpire and pay for hotels, pay for this whole experience for these kids. Now you get tossed from the ballpark, boy, oh boy, that's going to be embarrassing. There's thousands of teams. There's only been probably 15 to 20 umpires in the 30 plus years that's been there. I don't know how long it's been there, but it's been there a very long time. Thousands and thousands weekly go out there. And umpires from all around the country go out there to umpire. And I'm umpiring with Major League Baseball umpires and minor league baseball umpires and the best of the best, that have been to school with umpiring and everything like that. And I don't know what you're doing, Kendall, but it's freaking annoying. Could you please stop? Anyways, you throwing off my groove, bro. So, anyways, when I'm out there, there's this thing called pin trading. All right, pin trading. You these kids, each team gets a pin, and you get a trade with the kids. What baseball team do I support? I like the Yankees. I like the Boston Red Sox. What? You can't do that. I do because I don't care. What else to say? Anyways, we trade pins, and the umpires only get like 10 to 20 pins. It's a big deal. I don't care what you think, Kendall. It's a big deal to get these pins and trade them with the kids, and the umpire gets a specific umpire pin. And when I get out there, I say, all right, you like the Giants. Oh, that's cool. It's a really nice stadium. I've been there many times. So I tell the kids, I'm like, all right, I'll give you this pin. You got to give me 2 pins. Because these kids, that is terrible. If either side heard you, they would fight you. Right? I'm going to get punched in the face because of this. So, I honestly don't have a team that I watch or follow, to be honest. I never watch TV. I don't like watching baseball on TV because I know too much about the game. I know all the sides of it because I've been a player for 30 years and I've been an umpire for 15. So I've been playing baseball all my life. And being an umpire, you really get a perspective of the rules and how things are done and everything. Oh my gosh, Kendall, are you stupid? What is the matter with you? Anyways, I would always tell the kids, all right, you give me 2 pins, I'll give you this 1 pin. And then I just do that. I just keep stacking it. So each time I get a new pin, I'm like, you want this pin? Give me 2 of your pins. Because they could get pins super easily. And they really like me because it's not like I swindle them or anything. It's, I work my mojo with these kids. These kids think I'm hilarious. I usually become one of the favorites out there when I do umpire because I'm hell allowed. He's about to, Prieta. He's about to. He's pushing my patience. Kendall, you are pushing my patience. I will toss your ace out of here so fast. Dear Jeebus. Oh. Anyway. This one time, there's this rule in baseball, and I was out in Cooperstown, and it's really hot. There was this Hawaiian team that came. How long till I get banned? You're gonna get banned. You're gonna get kicked. You're gonna get muted if you keep this crap up. Stop it. Well, I don't know why you're doing this. Anyways, Hawaiian team was coming out, and it's super hot in New York. They aren't used to that humidity. And there was this Hall of Fame. Yeah, Prieta's gonna decide. Prieta's gonna be the one this time to be the disciplinary. Don't waste my time. So, make it closer. What is the matter with you? Oh my gosh. Are you bored or something? Anyways, there's this rule where you can't modify or put any substance on the ball. Where these kids were doing this thing where they would wipe their hand on their head, which would bring sweat to the ball. Now, if you do that, that's equivalent to spitting on. All right, see you later, Kendall. So, spitting on the ball. There's so when you spit on the ball and everything like that, that's against rules, and it's called an illegal pitch, and you can't do that. So they would wipe it off, put it on the ball, and I would be like, timeout. And they would And I would say that's an illegal pitch. We need to add one. We need to add a ball to the count. They would add a ball to the count because that's an illegal thing. They have to switch the ball out. These kids weren't getting it. And they kept on doing it. Equivalent, putting it on. So if you were going to do this, you got to go to your clothes to wipe off the sweat or whatever is going on. Then you could go to the ball. But you can't go from here straight to the ball. It is an illegal pitch. This, I guess, Hall of Famer came out on the field and started yelling at me. He was mad. He was mad. He played in the MLB. He comes toe to toe with me. I don't remember his name. I don't give a crap. He was from the Royals, I guess. I guess there's a statue out in front of the Royal Stadium of him. I don't know who he was. Never met him, never heard of him, anything like that. So he comes up to me. There's no such rule. I'm like, that's because when you get to MLB, you learned not to touch your face to like any like substance or anything to the ball. And hold on. And but he just did. He kept on, they kept on going like that. You can't do that. It's a legal pitch. He comes up to me, says I'm a liar, that I don't know the rules and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, it's actually in the rules. You can read about it. You can't modify the ball. It's an illegal substance, yada, yada, yada. Oh, he was so mad. And like when the coaches get mad at the umpires are like royalty out there, which is so nice. And his team is trying to like prevent him from like stepping on our toes, so we kick his ace out, which permanently bans him from the park from ever entering. You're on like some permanent ban list or whatever. And he was so mad at me. I think his team lost or won. I don't know. But when they get tossed, like, it's a big deal. And like, you have to be like super strict. They're very strict out there. Like, every kid has to like put on like the tuck in their shirts. You gotta have your hat on straight. You gotta have everything like that when you're doing baseball on out there. So there's that. What else do they have? They have wiffle ball out there when you're doing it. The cabins, there's tons of cabins. It looks like a concentration camp, but it's not. And it's there's no heating or air conditioning in the cabins, and it's super hot at night. And the way I do it, and there's bunk beds in all the cabins. In the umpire's cabin, you get your individual bed. In the kids' cabin, same thing, but they get bunk beds. So each umpire gets a separate bed. And I always put a fan above me and put a big ace fan next to me because I don't want to hear dudes snoring all night. So I make my area really, oh, I thought that was Zozo. Really like comfortable. And a lot of the umpires get jealous because I put a blackout screen around my bunk bed, and I clamp it all on, and I make it really nice. Pillows work. Yeah, but okay, so I have to travel out there on a plane, so I can't really like bring a lot. So what I usually do is I go to Walmart and I buy, whoa, it's like, okay, I'm focused. I go to Walmart, I get a big ace fan, I get a little fan. I'm not packing this crap. And then I get the blackout curtains, clips, everything to make it hella nice, cool in my thing. Nice fan blowing on me. You can fall asleep nice. And pillows work to smother them. Oh my gosh! So dark. And what else? Oh, I get people jealous. I put on like a black what's it called? I put on a face mask to like block out the sunlight and the lights in the room because guys come home hella drunk, so drunk, and then they turn on the lights when they come in. I get earplugs, mask. I get a sleeping bag. Oh, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. And I just conk out. I've had some of the best sleeps out there in New York. New York! So, yeah, it's a good experience. It's hard work though. I mean, you do a couple games a day, every day. It's hot, and then you got some time by yourself, and then you can go to clinics, and you have a squad with you. And there's just stuff like that. And yeah, what else to tell you? You know, when I first umpired, the first time I did it was like 18 or 15 to 16, 17. I think I was like 17 years old. And I was in high school. Had no idea what I was doing. People in the fans were like, "Hey, you need to put your head on this side. You need whatever. What's up, Ressie? How you doing?" So, thanks for the follow. So, I had no idea what I was doing. I looked like an idiot. And then I was like, all right, well, that was kind of fun, you know. I was a pitcher and catcher in high school, but I mainly did pitcher. And I was like the ace, if you know what that is. It's like the number one pitcher on the team. I was ranked in the state at the time. I was like all about, you know, like Greg Maddux and like being like super accurate. You know, I threw 92 and I was all about accuracy and playing the mental game of the ball players, the batters, and stuff like that. So I had a lot of fun as a baseball player growing up. My last time I played, we won the championship. And it was like some collegiate league that I was in, wood bat. I loved breaking those wood bats as a pitcher. I would throw that inside pitch on him. Question: after I started my stream, did you go there and just criticize me? I didn't just criticize you, and we're not talking about that right now, my friend. So if you want to stay, talk, we can talk. Aeon, we'll talk later. And I don't even think you're going to listen to my advice if I give you advice, but we're not talking about that right now. So, we're talking about baseball. Anyways, my first like official getting paid was in high school for that one, like, I guess there's varsity and then like junior varsity and then the little guys. And I did the little guys, I guess they're like sophomores. And I umpired for them a couple times and they paid pretty well, like $85 for one game. At that age, I was like, sign me up. I thought that was a good deal. So, after that, my other official time, like in the beginning, was umpiring softball. Boy, oh boy, I didn't like softball. That was a cluster and a half. They would sing these songs, hey, batter, batter, somebody's bladder, and they would do these cheers the whole time. And I'm sitting there trying to umpire the game, and I had no idea what I was doing with that 12-foot arch that's coming in with these little girls. That arch would come in. If it hit in this area, I was like, strike, you know? So, after that, I I did City League baseball at that time and umpired machine pitch or something like that. It was stupid. It was dumb. They start them off a machine pitch and then they work them up to actual baseball in City League. And I did the machine pitch games, and the kids had a lot of fun with me. I was really nice with them, and the parents liked me. And then I after that, I was in charge of some programs in the city with little kids. I would teach them different sports, and we would go from baseball, frisbee, soccer, bowling, volleyball, basketball. I would teach them the rules, and we would play games with these kids. These were kids that like don't have like a big brother like image or something like that, and so like I would have to fill in that role. Um and I don't understand your point or your reasoning right now, and you're kind of burning a lot of bridges with any support you want. So I'll just be straight up with you, Aeon. Anyways, again, we'll talk later. That was really fun. All the kids really liked me a lot because I was always goofy. I always got down to their point of view, and just like was just a kid with them at the same time. Like they always wanted to be on my team because we would have like 2 or 3 coaches, and I was one of the coaches, and they would always want to be on my team. You're not going to support anyways. I don't get that part. You know what? You obviously don't understand English. I'll talk to you in an hour, okay? So, what else to say? Growing up as an umpire and starting young, around 18 years old, I didn't have proper gear or anything. I would get hit by the baseball a lot. And I would always umpire from my knees. No one ever taught me how to umpire. I didn't really learn it from anything. And I would go down on my knees and do the longest strikes that you can imagine. When a strike would come in, I would hold that sucker for 10 seconds. And these kids and fans thought that was unique and loud and crazy at the same time. So, and I would do that for like a year or two. Didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden, I'm going out to Cooperstown, and that's when I took umpiring really serious. So, when I took it really serious, I bought my own gear because I used like the city gear, which didn't protect me. I'm 6'5", 200 something pounds at the time, and I was getting hit by the ball left and right. Didn't wear a cup, was just super stupid. And then I finally got gear that fit me, and I took it super serious. Now I look all MLB on the field, and I found a lot of joy in it. Like, it's weird because you're in charge, you have to make hundreds of split-second decisions, but you get a lot of joy in that, making that split decision, and validation each time. You get validated by, you're gonna make mistakes. Sometimes I've called strikes that weren't strikes. Sometimes I've called balls that weren't balls, but you got to sell it either way. So like what it means to sell it is like when you call that strike, you got to see that, you got to get into it. And I would sell each call, and even though I was wrong and I made the call, they would believe it. They would listen to it. They would be like, yeah, that's the call. You know what I mean? And so you got to sell it either way. When the ball happens, don't say anything. Just have the pitch come in. That's a ball. Sometimes you can whisper to yourself. I mean, some umpires like to say some verbal thing like ball, but it throws everybody off because you're supposed to umpire in a way that like the blind can see and the deaf can hear. So you got to make the motion of strike. And if they can't see you, you got to make the sound strike, whatever. And there's not like just one way to umpire all the time. Each umpire has like so many different ways to umpire, and it's crazy. Like I've seen some umpires that have years of experience, and they're wearing big bottleneck glasses, and their strike zone is beyond ridiculous. Like, you throw it straight down the middle, in the strike zone. Each player has their own box on strike zone. It's not always like universal this spot on each person, because when the kid is going to like put it up, I usually go from like the chest right here, which is usually at the bottom of the elbow. So I usually go right there, and then I go to the top of the knee. So if it crosses that top of the first knee, I'll call it a strike. And it has to be corner to corner of the plate. So it has to hit above the knee in that zone, or below the chest in this zone. And then it has to cross the plate, either the corner on the left side, the corner on the right side of the plate when it's facing you, and you need to make sure you see all of those things at 1 second. Then when it hits that zone, you have literally a second to make the call. So you have to be right about the call. You can't be wrong about the call. You have to be firm about the call. So it comes in, and I'm making my motion already. Boom, done. Next one comes in, boom, it hits the spot, done. You can't just like, I've seen some umpires like sit there for like couple seconds. Now, it doesn't sound like that's a big thing, but it is a big thing. Like, the ball pitch will come in, 1, 2, 3, and then they do it. Oh, you're gonna have people lose their minds. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, they're expecting you to make these decisions quick and fast. If somebody slides in, you're sitting there for about 5 seconds looking at everything. You can't see the play properly. You can't make a decision. Boy, oh boy, people are going to freak out and lose their mind. Lose their mind. So, yeah, I've tried to help out young umpires, like, get better, coach them, because the only way to like learn umpiring is by umpiring. You can't just like read a manual and be like, oh, I'm a good umpire. No. You have to do umpiring. I have about 1,500 games under me in 15 years, about 100 games a year or so. That's a lot of games. It's a lot of mistakes. And, those umpires that don't admit that they made a mistake, those are the umpires that are just going to piss off everyone. I've said, to fans before, like, yeah, I'm human. I've made mistakes. And, like, when the mistake happened, like, after the game, I'm like, did you see that one pitch? Yeah, that was a ball. I called it a strike. Did you guys see that? No, you didn't, because I sold it. You know what I mean? So you gotta always sell each call, make sure you're in the right position, and sell it. It's weird, It's a weird mentality when it comes to all this. So I love putting on the mask, and like, you get limited view, but it depends on the mask you have. I have a really nice mask that like the MLB players use. I have great visibility. I can keep it on the whole time. It's light to the head. And it's all about technique. And, I always say, even when I'm streaming, like, work hard, not smart, well, work smart, not hard. There we go. So the things I do behind the plate and stuff, as I'm the home plate umpire, is like way different than this other guy who's going to have back pain if he keeps doing what he's doing, or he's in the line of fire. He's not in the slot. Now, the slot is, there's a place adjacent to the catcher and the batter. Say he's a right-handed batter. There's a slot. They call it a slot, that you can get the most awesome view of everything that's going on, and you could be the closest to that strike and ball call and make the correct call each time. In the MLB, they have this QR system. I don't know if it's called QR, but there's an electronic system that measures the umpire and evaluates the umpire. And it's a box. If you guys have ever watched baseball, it's that box. They don't keep it up there all the time because people will go insane and they will overly critique the umpire, but there's actually a percentage that umpire has to be in with that box that the umpire sees in the real world, but the fans see a 2D box right there. Well, I've noticed they've making it like 3D lately, which is really cool. So, this box evaluates, and they have to be, I think, in the 96th percentile or 95-ish. Don't quote me on this, but they have to be pretty darn up there with the percentile that they get correct. So it measures if they're correct or if they're incorrect with the particular call. And this has been used for many years, and it's a whole system. They're starting to make video games. There is a video game that the developer sent me because they know I was an umpire, that you can measure balls and strikes in the VR world. It still needs some work. Some of the, sometimes it's hard if you're not in the real world to do it live, but to do it in the VR world is completely different. But they're starting to make games now that can help and teach up and coming umpires, which is great. But some company out there has made a thing where, like, say for example, when a ball comes in from a pitcher, it doesn't always just go straight. People think it goes straight. It doesn't go straight. It dips, it can go up, it can come at you and drift, it can go straight down, it can go in multiple directions. So this person made a system where they can, like, say for example, Randy Johnson. If you want to learn how to read that pitch and what it looks like when it's coming at you, you can put it into the system and be like, all right, I want to see Randy Johnson's 90-mile-an-hour slider or something like that. Slider goes boop. And his slider is going to look different than the next pitcher that comes along. Or Roger Clemens' four-seam fastball. I mean, there's with the baseball, there's seams on it. And how you put pressure on the seams is how the ball's going to be maneuvered. Like for example, the ball, if you see down right here, there's those seams. Say for example, you put your two fingers together on it, on the two seams, diagonally, straight up and down from where the ball is, and you put a little pressure on it. Well, that ball's gonna be more moving. But if you turn the ball and turn it into a four seam, that means all four seams are catching the air and it's going to go straight. The two seam is where you're only touching those two seams right there that you see down below. And each pitcher has their own different pitch and how they hold the ball. I used to have a sinker fastball, so like I would I would still do the two seam fastball, but I would do something different to where I made it to where my thumb was on the side and it would sink. So when it came at them, they think that it's coming straight at them, but when they hit it, the ball will drift down really fast right before the plate, and then they'll hit a ground ball, which is really good. When they hit the ground ball, easy out, less pitches you need to throw. So the less pitches you need to throw, the more energy you have, the more top of the game you could be. So that's how I did pitching and all that stuff. And so, how much time do we got? We got 7 minutes. 6 minutes. So what else can I tell you about baseball? Do umpires wear like a private protector, like protect the manhood down there? Yes, they do. They wear the one I wear is called the Nutty Buddy. It's called the Nutty Buddy. Apparently this cup can take a 90 to the Nutty Buddy area. This is fascinating, is it? Good, I'm so glad. So you can take a shot, because when the pitcher throws it and the batter like tips it off, the catcher's not always going to catch it. That sucker's coming straight for you. You'll get the full impact and then some. Because sometimes when that ball gets hit off of it, it comes off at like a lot, like 200 miles an hour or something like that, something crazy because of the force of the impact. It's a very high impact sport. Anyways, you gotta be protected there, and the best thing to do is make sure you're protected, you have the proper equipment, and you're positioned properly, because if you're not, you can actually die. So I always have a throat protector. What happens a lot of times, it's not going to be used a ton. I've been hit there before, not like with protection in the throat. And so I have the mask and I have my throat protector. So when I'm in my position and the ball will bounce, the batter will hit it, it'll bounce, and it will go straight up to my throat. Which, if you get hit hard enough into the Adam's apple as a man, you'll die. It's extremely dangerous, and I have been hit there before. If I didn't have my throat guard, you never know what might happen, and it is terrifying, and it happens so fast you can't really react. I've been hit in the face mask so many times. I have a titanium face mask that, like, and the padding and everything, when you take a blow at 70 to 80 miles an hour to the face and the umpire gets hit there, it hurts. It shocks you. It scares you. You have to take a breather after that because it happens so fast, and it's like equivalent to like having somebody put on a boxing glove and like just decking you in the face with that mask on. So you need to be prepared for the impact that's going to happen to the umpire. And, some people have cheered when I get hit because they're like mad at some stupid call that I called against their kid. But the majority realize the human part of being an umpire when you do get hit. I've been nailed in the hand, in the forearms before. And that's my own stupid fault. You put your forearm somewhere, or you're like crouching down and you forget to protect yourself or protect your forearms. So, and it will leave a pretty hefty bruise. It hurts. But when you're in front of like hundreds of people on the field, you gotta man up, and it hurts. The umpire, if you ask him after, oh yeah, that didn't hurt, that's because they're trying to like be tough, but in all reality, it really hurts. They are human. And I've had it show the seams before on the hand. I've had my hand hit, I've had my forearms hit, I've had my elbow hit, I've had my collarbone up here. So the pads will come up to like right about here. There's a tiny spot that isn't protected, like right here. I've had it hit that bone when it didn't cover all the way. That hurts. I've had my shoulders hit. I've had my ankles hit. I've been knocked in the nuts before. I've been knocked in the butt before. There's been times that like the ball will bounce and it'll go down my shirt, and I'm like, "Where's the ball?" And everyone's like, "It's in your shirt," which is funny. Of course, when that happens, that's umpire interference. Depending on the situation, if it's just a ball and strike, it's not a big deal. But if it's during a play, ish will hit the fan. I've been hit while on the field with line drives. Out in Cooperstown, those kids hit hard. They hit hard, ball comes off the bat hard. They have aluminum bats, which are super dangerous. And I've had line drives, which means the ball goes directly at me and nail me in the thigh and drop me right on the field. And there's cameras out there. It's on TV. It's embarrassing. Of course, I stand up with tears in my eyes, I feel like, and I walk it off. And actually, that one time when that did happen, the kid that actually hit me found me out in Cooperstown, because it's like a fan-based area, and there's like lots of little stores and stuff. So he saw me. He's like, "Hey, Blue! Hey, Blue!" He took a picture with me, and he was super happy to like meet me. He's like, "I'm sorry." It's this chubby little kid that was like super happy to meet the person he hit really hard. And we took pictures together. It was really cute. It's fun to have little fans like that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this little monologue regarding baseball umpiring. Got a little insight that umpires are real and that they are, you know, human. Because when they put on that mask, a lot of people don't see them or treat them like they are human. So if you guys are on the stream right now, we are gonna move on to another game. And if you guys aren't on the stream, I'd love to meet you live and have more discussions about baseball or anything like that. And see ya!